Coming up next on the RCWR Show, yours truly, the Black Avenger Lee Sanders, puts on the thinking hat and offers match predictions for Sunday's 26th annual WWE Royal Rumble pay-per-view. You don't want to miss this. It's the RCWR Show, and it begins right now.
Live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., this is the RCWR Show with your host, Lee Sanders.
Welcome to the RCWR Show, Call That Match Special. Your host here, the Black Avenger, a.k.a. the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders. Thank you all so much for checking this episode out. Special shout out to those of you that are going to be checking this out on YouTube, as for sure we want to hear your predictions. So make sure after you are done listening to this episode, you submit those comments. If you're listening to this on your iDevices, or if you're listening to this on your desktop, laptop, then you want to make sure that you hop on over to Twitter. Interact with us there. Give us your match predictions, as we'll read them on the air this Sunday for the RCWR post show. You can do so by hitting us up at Infinity One Prod. You can also interact with us on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure you do so. Hit us up at the RCWR Show. As easy as that. Alright, so let's jump right into it and deal with this final updated card for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. And folks, if you are not able to see this pay-per-view at the US Airways Arena out in Phoenix, Arizona, then you have the next best seat, as you can just click on that order button on your remote control in the comfort of your own home, kick on back, have a big old bowl of popcorn, some wings, some pizza, whatever you love to eat, have your favorite tasty beverage right beside you, and enjoy the pay-per-view that way. Always the best seat in the house. One of these times where you want to call up your friends, maybe have them put a little money together for the food that can go towards your cable bill. If you're going to be ordering this pay-per-view, you know it's going to be pretty expensive. And if you got those nice kick-ass flat screen plasma TVs, you know you gotta go all the way, baby, when it comes to ordering this pay-per-view. You gotta go the HD route, man. Go on ahead and pay that extra $20. Make it $60, make it $70, make it $80 to checking out this pay-per-view. I really don't think you're gonna be disappointed. Now, as we had said earlier this week on the RCWR Show, Tuesday night edition, even on our YouTube exclusive that we put out on Mondays covering the fallout from WWE Raw. On paper, this Royal Rumble looks a little where all the apples and oranges is put into that basket of that one specific match known as the WWE Championship between The Rock and CM Punk. And we'll be tackling that in the later part of the show. But first, let's go on ahead and let's tackle our YouTube pre-show. Yes, we consider the YouTube pre-show to be part of the whole package. We're able to see it. It's not necessarily a dark match because you can access it from anywhere. Twitter, Facebook, WWE's website, YouTube, you name it. So, as far as I'm concerned, this match, it actually counts. And in our YouTube pre-show match, for those of you that were under the impression that maybe we were going to be seeing some Divas action, well, you're sadly mistaken. And quite honestly, I like this YouTube pre-show match better. We're going to see the United States Champion Antonio Cesaro defend his title against the one and only Awesome Miz. Now, you know, when I first had heard this match, I was a little bit disappointed and happy at the same time. I know that's kind of weird for you all to hear that. Let me break it down for you all one time. I was disappointed because I would have preferred to see this match go down on the actual pay-per-view itself. So that's where the disappointment comes in. The happy comes in because we're going to be able to see these two guys get it on. And for me, hey, I'm all for that. Now, let's be for real. And anybody that wants to go in a different direction, why you would go in a different direction when it comes to this particular match, but let's be for real right here. There is no way, with the hot mean streak that Antonio Cesaro has been on since becoming the United States champion, is he going to lose the strap on a YouTube pre-show. I just don't see that happening. If he is going to drop this belt, it will take place at an actual pay-per-view. Could it happen as early as the Elimination Chamber? Possibly. Could it happen at WrestleMania? Damn confident that it very well could happen at that pay-per-view. But with regards to this YouTube pre-show match at the Royal Rumble between these two men, I do not see Antonio Cesaro dropping the strap. I look at this match in particular to be nothing more than a warm-up match. An appetizer, if you will. A taste of things to come as WWE writers continue to build this rivalry between these two men and try to build up Antonio Cesaro to just be this unstoppable, evil foreign man that has just been able to defeat every single American that has been put before him. Man, for that matter, let's not forget, after all, he did take on the great Khali, somebody that is not American. Really, every single man that's been put in front of him, he's been able to squash them. So WWE, they have just been continuing to build this man up on a weekly basis. And honestly, I think the biggest payoff that they can get with The Miz becoming the United States champion, since the pet project of The Miz right now is making him become a top babyface. Notice how he's been paying homage to Ric Flair there, busting out the figure four leg locks, really trying to get him over, get that crowd going in his favor. And it's been a pretty solid job the past several weeks seeing his character develop into a strong babyface. Crowd is really behind him. They're very supportive. That's the younger WWE fan base for you right there. I definitely feel that with this particular match, Cesaro, he will retain, but look for their rivalry to continue. Again, we could see these two guys get it on at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. If not, definitely there will be some finality to this come WrestleMania. Now, let's move on to our next match. We have the WWE Tag Team titles on the line as Kane and Daniel Bryan, Team Hell No. They're going to be taking on the team of Cody Rhodes and the intellectual savior, you're welcome, Damien Sandow. Now, I'm looking at this particular match right here, and I'm wondering to myself, how could this possibly play out? Now, as we had saw on Raw from this past Monday night, Kane and Daniel Bryan, they had graduated from anger management class. Yes, they had their whole little gown outfit on and everything. I don't know why, but when I saw those two guys come out wearing their college outfit skirts, as I like to call them, they just looked like two Daedras that were just running around from Elder Scrolls Skyrim. And if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, Google's your best friend. But for those of you that love your RPG games, you can see that reference. You guys are probably chuckling your heads off right now that I've said that little comparison there. But we saw from Raw this past Monday night, these guys graduate. Nowhere in sight was Damien Sandow, Cody Rhodes near. I was looking for these guys to make some type of an appearance, try to jump these guys. We didn't even get that. And, you know, I like the streak that Team Rhodes Scholars has been on, especially since Cody Rhodes has came back. He's pushing that new caterpillar mustache that seems to be trying to grow out. I don't know if it can come out anymore, but he's pushing his nice little mustache. I must admit, it's taking me a while to get used to it. I thought it was quite silly, but I'm actually starting to grow quite fond of the mustache. Although I've been one of those type of people, I don't really like to just have a mustache. I'm one of those type of people, when I let my facial hair grow, I like to have a goatee. I like to have my sideburns. I might ditch the sideburns. I'll keep the goatee, but I don't really like just pushing a mustache. Definitely not that type of mustache. But, you know, we've seen a little bit of inconsistency here with regards to Team Rhodes Scholars. One minute we see these guys, they are the hottest thing happening. Then the next thing we see that they are just being used for comic relief. I really am trying to figure out where is Team Rhodes Scholars gonna go right here. And if I was booking this, I would actually have the team of Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes pick up the victory. I just feel that they really need this win. I think that they just really need to have a bit of a hot streak going on right now. And I think it would just make for really great television, quite honestly. But then I start thinking in the back of my mind how Damian Sandow is still going around and he's testing people out randomly in the audience, trying to get them to answer 3 questions correctly, as he does have that whole apprentice thing going on. Should that person get all 3 of his questions right? I am just kind of really looking at this right now, and I'm kind of led to believe that the team of Damian Sandow, Cody Rhodes could eventually break up and go their separate ways, with Damian Sandow being the one to become the better singles competitor than Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, he really needs this right now. He really needs to be paired up with Damian Sandow, as it just seems like before Sandow entered the picture, Cody Rhodes was just really lost deep in the shuffle right here, just jobbing the people left and right. He really needs to stick with Damian Sandow, but at the same time, I just feel that Cody Rhodes is kind of holding Sandow back from reaching his truest potential, which is that of a singles competitor. So I think you guys see where I'm going with this. I actually see the team of Hell No picking up the victory and retaining their tag titles. If these guys were to drop the tag belts, I just don't see it happening at the Royal Rumble. Maybe it could happen on Raw, maybe it could happen on SmackDown, but I just don't see it happening going down at the Royal Rumble. I would be shocked to see new tag champions get crowned. Let's go ahead and let's talk about our next match, folks, which sees the WWE World Heavyweight Championship contested in a last man standing match, where once again Alberto Del Rio is putting up the belt on the line against, well, Big Show. So good they had to do it twice, didn't they? We just had this match 2 weeks ago on Friday Night SmackDown, where we saw Alberto Del Rio just cleverly was able to pin down the Big Show with that announcer's table and was able to pick up the victory that way and becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion. Now, here we are again. These two guys are going at it. Is the second time going to be the charm for Alberto Del Rio, or is Big Show going to prove that what had happened on SmackDown was nothing more than a fluke? This should be a very interesting matchup right here. If we've learned anything from what we had saw the first time around, these two guys hooked up in that last man standing match, there's definitely going to be a lot of a thought process going into the match. This is not going to be one of those straight up fist to fist type of matches. Alberto Del Rio is going to be coming at Big Show with his speed, with his agility. He's going to be coming at him with that luchador background of his in wrestling. You know he's going to bring it to the Big Show, but you know, when I look at this particular match, I got Alberto Del Rio kind of digging down deep here, and I got him pulling a few pages out of the late Eddie Guerrero's playbook. Adding to the whole mix, Del Rio's trusted sidekick, Ricardo Rodriguez, And quite honestly, folks, you have the perfect ingredients for a lie, cheat, steal, as Alberto Del Rio will retain. That is how I'm looking at this right now. Now, some of you may be saying, okay, well, Lee, what's going to happen next? Well, remember, we got one last pay-per-view before WrestleMania. Of course, I'm talking about the Elimination Chamber. Now, for those of you that are kind of looking at this here, and you're kind of wondering what's next for Del Rio, what's next for the Big Show? More specifically, where do you go with the Big Show after this? Can he possibly get one more chance at the belt? I do see something like that happening. I can see a scenario, as I just described, where Ricardo Rodriguez, Alberto Del Rio, they're basically able to lie, cheat, steal their way to helping retain that World Heavyweight title, which would set off a peed-off Big Show trying to get another match. But I can see other superstars telling the Giant he's had his turn. It's now time for him to go to the back. And basically we can see some type of a setup go down where maybe we can see a series of matches where the winner will be able to advance into that Elimination Chamber match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I have Alberto Del Rio definitely securing his belt, going on to be the one to defend that title at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. I can see Big Show part of that as well. Other participants I see that could be in this include Sheamus. I can definitely see Randy Orton thrown in there. Another person that I can see in there is Great Khali, just for the hell of it. And for those of you that are wondering, I can even see Dolph Ziggler being thrown in there. Now, before you guys even ask, I'm just going to go ahead and squash that right now. Well, what about Dolph Ziggler? He did mention to Alberto Del Rio last week that he will be looking to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase as soon as he sees the first opportunity to do so. Well, you know what? That's all fine and dandy. But with regards to the Royal Rumble, I just don't see it happening. I think WWE, they have just been waiting so long, so patiently. I really think that we, Dolph Ziggler fans, are going to be in for a big special treat. I just don't see it happening at the Royal Rumble, so let's just squash that right now. Although, if WWE were to be really smart about it, if they really wanted to create a little bit of buzz, they could kind of put that illusion out there, especially if they show Dolph Ziggler maybe looking on in the backstage area at this particular match. They could kind of maybe put it out there that he could be thinking about cashing in that Money in the Bank briefcase. And quite honestly, if there was ever the opportunity to cash in that briefcase, Royal Rumble would be the perfect place to do it. You know how the Big Show is when he just connects with that WMD. It's lights out. It could be a good scenario for Dolph Ziggler if both men were able to just completely drain the hell out of each other to the point where they are just both lying on the ground, but somehow miraculously Del Rio is able to get a arm over the Big Show for the cover to be able to secure his World Heavyweight title. And then we could see Dolph Ziggler come out that way, cash in the briefcase, become the Money in the Bank winner. The setup is there. I just don't see it happening. I think at this point, Dolph Ziggler is probably going to become the new World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania. Now, let's go on and let's talk about our next match, folks, which is the 30-man Royal Rumble. All right? Now, for those of you that are kind of wondering, well, wait a minute, what about the WWE Championship match? I think the way that this pay-per-view is going to play out, folks, and normally I'm not one to set up and really jump out there with how the matches should be as far as the specific order, but I just have this weird feeling that with regards to that WWE Championship match between CM Punk and The Rock, I have the strongest feeling that that match alone is going to be what closes out the Royal Rumble. Trust me on this. I would be a little bit perplexed if they had the WWE Championship match go before the Royal Rumble match, because this match alone, I think, is what's really going to have people truly invested out of their seats. All their energy is just going to be into this match. I think they would be completely drained out if they had to try to put that energy after seeing CM Punk and The Rock into a Royal Rumble match for almost a whole hour. I just don't see that happening. Let's talk about this 30-man Royal Rumble match. Now, as we all have heard, there are 23 participants that are in this match right now. There are 7 slots that remain. Of course, that could be going to superstars that we haven't seen in a good while. I know recently we just saw Tommy Dreamer pop up. He could be one that could return. We could see Gene Snitsky. There is that possibility. If y'all didn't listen to a recent interview that we had the opportunity of having with him a couple of weeks back, highly encourage you to backtrack on that. A little bit of insightful stuff that he had gave, especially when the questions was put out there if he would consider going back to the WWE if a deal was presented to him, if he was contacted. But that's a name that could possibly make a cameo. Boogeyman, who had made a cameo during the Slammy Awards special a few weeks back, he's one that could possibly pop up. Matt Hardy's been making his rounds practically in almost every single wrestling promotion. Don't be too surprised if maybe he might make a cameo. MVP has been denying the rumors that he's going to be returning at the Royal Rumble this Sunday, as he currently is tied to New Japan Pro Wrestling, shooting down rumors all week. But hey, that is one who we could possibly see. You know, Rey Mysterio, he's back. He recently had returned at a WWE live house show. He's one that could possibly make his return. Of course, we have Sergeant Slaughter, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. There's plenty of people that we could be seeing make returns in this particular match. But when it's all said and done, it really boils down to who is going to win the Royal Rumble match. Now remember, folks, we have Dolph Ziggler in this. He's either going to be starting off at number 1 or he's going to be number 2. And the way that you are looking at that particular match, you're kind of led to believe that Dolph Ziggler could possibly be the one that's going to win the Royal Rumble. Now, you know what? That would be one very interesting scenario right there, to have Dolph Ziggler win the Royal Rumble, and he's a Money in the Bank winner. I don't know about you guys, but to hear that deadly combination, that just spells out for me champion, period. He's going to have a belt around his waist either way. I think the way they're going to do this, they are going to make Dolph Ziggler be this year's Rey Mysterio, Shawn Michaels. He's going to be that Iron Man guy. He's going to be in there for, God knows, a good long length of time. And it's going to look as though maybe he is going to be the one that is possibly going to win the whole thing. But folks, in the back of my mind, there is one individual that I'm thinking about, 2 more specifically, that could possibly win this whole baby. One of them, of course, is being the C Nation leader himself, John Cena. Now, before everybody starts hating, let's just be for real. John Cena, he had one bad year. And of course, I'm thinking to myself as I see everything that's been playing out, John Cena is in the perfect situation right here where he could be the one to win the Royal Rumble, and then he has to decide if he's going to face Alberto Del Rio or if he's going to try to take on whoever the WWE champion may be at WrestleMania. Now, I don't know about you guys, but we've heard the rumblings there that WWE, they would like to do a John Cena versus The Rock 2 at WrestleMania. But at the same time, they want to try to live up to that whole once-in-a-lifetime type of match. They don't really want to do a rematch, but you got to go with where the smart money is, wherever your top draws are. So I can definitely entertain the thought of a John Cena winning the Royal Rumble. Now, there's one other name that I did not mention of wrestlers that could be returning, and I did this on purpose because there's one individual who could pose a very serious threat to this Royal Rumble and crush John Cena's dreams of becoming the Royal Rumble winner. And of course, I'm talking about the dead man himself, The Undertaker. Now remember, folks, we heard a little bit of rumblings a couple of weeks back there where The Undertaker was penciled in to make an appearance on the first Raw of the new year, but they decided that they were going to go into a different direction. And now we're starting to hear the rumblings that Undertaker could possibly be coming back at the Royal Rumble to try to get another shot at main eventing at WrestleMania. Now, I don't know about you all, but when I think about The Undertaker, the first thing I'm thinking to myself is, how badass would that be to see Undertaker win the Royal Rumble and he has a date with Destiny at WrestleMania as he awaits the winner between the CM Punk versus Rock match. Nice setup, isn't it, folks? It is between Undertaker and it is between John Cena. Those are the two guys that I'm going to be going with to win the Royal Rumble for this year. And our Call That Match special history, I have never went with two people. I've always gone with just one. But I just feel so confident right now in those two men that I've named. That is the route that I'm going to go. I'm going to go with John Cena or The Undertaker for the Royal Rumble. And I mention both of these two men because they have a significant impact on that WWE Championship match. And folks, let's go ahead and talk about that WWE Championship match right now. It's the People's Champion. It's the Brahma Bull. It's the great one. It's the most electrifying man in all of sports and entertainment. It is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson taking on the Straight Edge, the best in the world, the WWE Champion CM Punk, who continues to break new ground every single day, every single week, every single month, holding on to that WWE Championship, one of the most impressive reigns, impressive streaks that we have seen this quarter of a century, something that we may not see ever again for quite a long time. This is what Royal Rumble is all about. This is the match that's going to put a lot of asses in the seats. This is the match that is going to truly set the tone for WrestleMania. And folks, the question, who needs this win? I've written an article about this, which you can still read at our website at infinityOneProductions.com. It's on our homepage. Great read. The article basically is talking about why CM Punk needs to defeat The Rock. Now, this is how I feel with regards to this particular match. I thought maybe, and I left a little room there for it to be open in case I do start to have any type of doubt. But as I am doing this right now, I can tell you guys that there is not anything that has changed from when I first heard CM Punk is going to be taking on The Rock at the Royal Rumble. I still feel that CM Punk will be the one to pick up the victory. That's what my heart is telling me, but my gut is telling me an entirely different story. Now, let me tell you why my heart is going with CM Punk getting the win. Why CM Punk needs this win. CM Punk needs this win to solidify himself as a top WWE main guy on the roster. CM Punk needs this win. He needs that seal of approval. He needs that stamp that says, yes, he is the man. And who better to get that rub off from than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Okay, the man has done it all. He has been a champion numerous times. He's main event at WrestleMania. He's taken on great legends. The Rock really does not need this WWE title. CM Punk is there night in. He's there night out. He's at all the live events. He's going overseas. He is busting his ass. He has grown to have the reputation of being a workhorse. And you know, when you have a person in your organization, in your company, that is willing to go to bat for you like that, you want to continue to stay loyal to them no matter what. And that's what I look at when I think about this particular match. Now, I look at it from the side of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The Rock has not tasted WWE Championship in 10 years, folks. Remember that last time The Rock was champion? If I'm not mistaken, he was undisputed champion. And man, when it came to SummerSlam, what was that, 2002, I believe it was? We had saw Brock Lesnar give him that devastating F5. Woo! Man, was that it. Rock got booed out the damn building. I mean, it was just ridiculous what had happened there. But you know, despite all that, as much as I would like to see The Rock with the WWE title, they're going to have a hard time, they being the WWE bookers, they're going to have a hard time trying to make up for The Rock's absence. Now, we know they could kind of do this in a way where if he were to win, then we don't see him for about 2-3 weeks. They could probably show some type of footage in between that could show him doing his little Hollywood red carpet events, plugging his movies, and he has the belt with him, and he's bringing in the press that way. He's mentioning WWE that way, building up the hype, getting his fans, getting that Hollywood audience into that WWE product. Great publicity, great marketing, great fucking strategy. I would love that. That is exactly how I would utilize Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But at the same time, to have a champion be gone that long, dipping into all those outside projects, and let's not forget now, The Rock has a new movie co-starring Mark Wahlberg, directed by Michael Mann, that's going to be released very shortly. So you know The Rock is going to be pretty busy. As much as I would like to see The Rock become the WWE champion, folks, I'm sorry, and I have been a Rock fan for many years. Same thing with CM Punk, been a fan of his for many years. I just don't see The Rock winning the WWE title. Now, there could be some very interesting developments that could go about with this particular match. Now, remember what Vince McMahon had told CM Punk on Raw from this past week. He said that if the Shield tried to interfere in his match in any type of way, then CM Punk would be stripped of the WWE title. Now that eliminates the Shield, but that doesn't mean that everybody else has been eliminated from interfering in this match. Talk about using Vince McMahon's words against him. Now, remember, we've seen over the past course of a few weeks here, Paul Heyman on a cell phone talking to somebody. I don't know about you guys, but who is the person that Paul Heyman is talking to? That's the $1 million question. And you know, if I were to put all my money out there, I am led to believe that Paul Heyman, all this time, even this past week, he's been talking to Brock Lesnar, keeping him in the loop on what all has been going on. And I thought it was very interesting as U.S. Airways Arena, they had an article up. It was an interview that they had with Paul Heyman while he was promoting the Royal Rumble event. The question was put out there, if we could ever see a day where there would be a Team Punk Lesnar with Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman went on record. He said only if WWE is willing to shell out the big money. That's the only way that's going to go down. Quite honestly, folks, I would not be shocked to see Brock Lesnar pop up at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. You want to talk about a huge mark-out moment. If there was ever a time for Brock Lesnar to make his return, and you know he has a few dates left in his current contract, which will be expiring, I would think, just the day or a couple of days after WrestleMania, as WWE, they have been trying to secure a new deal with him. Same type of deal, practically the same amount of money, but he has yet to sign it. I am led to believe that Brock Lesnar could no doubt return this Sunday. And folks, we should point out to you that WWE, they were very, very seriously considering bringing Brock Lesnar back on the first Raw episode of this new year, but they decided that they were going to go in a different direction. They also came close to trying to get him to come back on the 20th anniversary episode, but they decided that they wanted him to come back a little later. So could that later be the Royal Rumble? That would be the perfect place for Brock to pop up. Just imagine those final moments right there of what's going on between CM Punk and The Rock, and just from out of nowhere we see Brock Lesnar come in and talk about lightning striking twice. We see Brock Lesnar just own The Rock again and give him a devastating F5. I mean, that would just be some phenomenal stuff right there, quite honestly. And from there, we just see CM Punk and Brock Lesnar, they just start beating down the People's Champion, and there's nobody that's coming out to help him. That would kind of eliminate The Rock for a little bit. But you know, there's another way, unfortunately, that this all could play out for this particular match. Folks, we could end up seeing John Cena interfere in this match. It is highly likely that John Cena, he could lose the Royal Rumble match. And in frustration, he could be the one that could help CM Punk retain his WWE title. Just think about it, folks. You got John Cena, who, again, promised that he was going to deliver something. He doesn't deliver, so he looks like a fool. And he just remembers how frustrated he was that The Rock had interfered in his match for the WWE title against The Miz back at WrestleMania 27. John Cena, wanting a bit of payback, interferes in this match, helps CM Punk pick up the win. A lot of fans booing the hell out of John Cena. Many people questioning, is this the beginning of a John Cena heel turn? It wouldn't be, but it would just have a lot of people buzzing going into Monday night's Raw from Las Vegas. A lot of hype, a lot of twists and turns that this match could possibly go. And with that scenario that I put out there to you guys, this sets up the Rock John Cena too. But where does that leave CM Punk? That's why I mentioned The Undertaker winning the Royal Rumble, because The Undertaker would be looking to take on CM Punk for that WWE title at WrestleMania. Talk about the streak going against the streak / champion. That just speaks large volumes to me, quite honestly. But with the way that this particular match could play out, folks, this is one of those type of matches you just want to kick back and you just want to see what's going to happen. I've given you the different scenarios that could come out from this, but if you were to ask me to just pick one direction to go with, I'm going to go with CM Punk retaining the WWE title. But do not be surprised if we see The Rock win the title. Should The Rock win the title, you're going to kind of be like, okay, WTF here, what the hell? If Rock wins that WWE title and we don't see any interference from nobody, we don't see Brock Lesnar, we don't see John Cena, then obviously the real question becomes, well, if The Rock does win the WWE title, then who needs to come out of the Royal Rumble to want to take him on at WrestleMania? And quite honestly, folks, the route you go is with John Cena winning the Royal Rumble. So again, two different scenarios, a lot of scenarios that all just intertwine with one another when it comes to this particular match. So many different directions that this match can go. But again, I'm going with my gut right here. I'm going with my heart. I am just going to go on ahead and go with CM Punk, even though in the back of my mind I hear something screaming at me to go with The Rock. But this is how I'm looking at it, folks. So there you have it for the 26th annual WWE Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Let's go ahead and let's take it up to the very top for your YouTube pre-show. I have Antonio Cesaro retaining his United States Championship. For the WWE Tag Titles, I have Kane and Daniel Bryan retaining. For your WWE World Heavyweight Championship contested in a last man standing match, I have Alberto Del Rio going over to Big Show to keep the title. For your 30-man Battle Royal match, or correction, for your 30-man Royal Rumble match, it's down to two men that I want you all to pay very close attention to. It's going to come down to The Undertaker or John Cena. One of those two men will win the Royal Rumble. And too close to call even as I speak, for the WWE Championship match between The Rock and CM Punk, I am going with the underdog. I'm going with CM Punk to retain his title. And that's going to do it, folks. Hey, what are your match predictions? Who do you think is going to win at Sunday's Royal Rumble pay-per-view? We want to hear from you all. Feel free to leave a comment right now at our YouTube channel at the RCWR Show. Leave those comments down below. You can also interact with us on Twitter. Hit us up at Infinity1Prod. Facebook at Infinity1 Productions. You can even send us an email at Infinity1Productions@gmail.com. Once again, that's Infinity1Productions@gmail.com. Submit those predictions to us, and what we'll do is we'll actually dedicate a special portion of our Saturday remixed episode that you're listening to right now. It'll air again this Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern, but we'll include you all's reactions. We'll include you all's predictions of who you all think is going to be walking away victorious at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. We'll actually read your comments live on the air, and we'll also take a very special in-depth look into previous Royal Rumble matches and just how does this particular Royal Rumble stack up to the Royal Rumbles of the past. It'll be a great, insightful look as we give a countdown of the top 10 best Royal Rumble matches in history. So you don't want to miss that. Make sure you check that out. That's this Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Hey, the talk of wrestling, it may end for now, but it continues over at our website at infinityoneproductions.com. Check it out where we cover so much more than wrestling. We dip into a little bit of everything on there. You can also hit us up on Facebook for news you can use. Hit us up on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. And hey, be kind, rewind, check out all the episodes that you might have missed of the RCWR Show and Impact Showdown Radio in our archive section up on iTunes, Zune Marketplaces, Stitcher, and also at blogtalkradio.com. Just use the keywords, the RCWR Show. Folks, we will see you this Sunday at 11 p.m. Eastern for a special episode of the RCWR Post Show covering the fallout from WWE Royal Rumble. And we'll also see you on blogtalkradio.com Monday night immediately after Raw as we'll cover the fallout from it, as it's the Las Vegas Anything Goes episode of WWE Raw Russian Roulette. You know how they do it on that one. It's our last time making a Monday night appearance. It's going to be a while before we do it again, so make sure that you join us for those two kick-ass shows this Sunday and Monday at 11 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR Show. Everybody be safe, be kind to one another, folks. We'll see you later. Do take care.